team, Katie here from Equestrian Movement, and we had one of our lovely YouTube subscribers send in a little bit of video to ask us if we could help with her transition into canter, where her horse bucks heading into the canter transition. So we're going to share with you the little bit of coaching advice that I gave to her, but also we're going to talk a little bit about why horses buck into the canter and how you can troubleshoot it. I had a lot of fun going through this video with our beautiful subscriber. So if you have any video that you want to have some coaching over and you're happy for us to share it on our YouTube channel, we would love for you to send it in and we will give you the couple minutes coaching advice for free. So let's have a quick look at what this little mare is doing. So if you're finding that your horse is bucking into the canter transition and it's only the canter transition, it's not happening in the trot, it's not happening when you hop on them, like when you first back them. If you do a couple of canter transitions and then they stop bucking into the canter transition, the most common and most likely cause is a balance issue. As always, we would recommend that you get your body worker to assess your horse for soundness and make sure that they're moving freely and there isn't any underlying pain issues and that ulcers have been addressed and all of those kinds of things why a horse might buck. But if you're at your wit's end and you've gone through the list of reasons why your horse might buck, most commonly once we rule out pain related issues, it's a balance issue. So there is a lot required of our horses to balance us into the canter transition, and it can take some work for them to feel comfortable going into the canter, especially our green ones. The canter transition, getting the balance from a balanced working trot into the canter transition and then back to a balanced working trot can be a little bit challenging for our horses. So when we have a look at this beautiful young mare, we can see that her balance is in that left shoulder into the canter transition, and then she kicks out into a little buck to do the flying change onto the correct canter lead. So when we're watching, when she's working here, she's what we would call falling in on the inside four. And a couple of things that we would like to look at to help correct that would be working on some half halts. So I would put this at a stage of development for this particular horse, for the things that this particular horse needs to work on. And potentially it's the stage of development for the rider as well, is how do we get the horse's weight bearing on the inside hind so that they can take the weight off of that inside shoulder to get into the canter lead. So the mare is working with her balance on that inside left shoulder. So as she goes, you can see where there's a little bit of counter flexion there. As she goes to get into the canter, she picks up the incorrect canter lead and she does a little buck to change onto the correct canter lead. And you can see here where she's in a little bit of counter flexion, so the balance is on that inside shoulder. The kind of things that we're looking at to support this horse at this moment is we want to be working on our half halts and our leg yields to try and shift the balance into the hindquarters, get the weight bearing onto the hindquarters with our half halts and our stretches down to long and low and back up again. And then our leg yields will help to get that inside hind through into a more weight bearing position and shifting the balance into the outside shoulder to get that correct bend. So what we mean by saying the horse is in counterflexion or counter bend is that the bend of their body is to the outside of the circle. The bend of the body, the arc of the horse's body is not following the shape of the circle. And so the direction that the horse is bent into, they balance into the outside shoulder. So with the way that the horse is currently bent and flexed to the right, is what we're talking about, is what's putting her balance onto the left shoulder, the inside shoulder, for the direction of travel. So what we want to do is we want to shift her balance into her hindquarters with half halts and transitions from long and low back up into a working frame, and then through into leg yield. So in our in our holistic horse riding program, this is basically what I call our intro or our baby leg yield, where we want to teach the horse to follow the rein away from the inside leg. So we want to be asking her to move away from the left leg to follow the right rein so that she puts the balance onto the right shoulder. The half halts will get the balance onto the hindquarters, and then just a closed inside rein to ask her to look to the left. So we want out with look in the direction of travel. There might be some confusing and complicated words if you've not done a whole lot of dressage training, but the way that we break it down in our holistic horse riding program is we break down all the aids and the exercises that layer on top of that to help you understand what we're trying to achieve. So the biggest reason why the horse bucks in that canter transition there is where she's balanced, her bend is to the right there, and so she picks up the right canter lead, but she's actually traveling to the left. So she does that little buck there in her flying change to switch over to the left canter lead, and because her balance is on the shoulders, on the forehand there, the only option she has to do that flying change is to do a little kick out with her hind legs. So there's no malice in that buck. She's not being naughty. We don't need to punish her for that. She's just trying to shift her legs so that she can have the correct canter lead to follow the line that she's riding on. So let me know if you're interested in our holistic horse handling, in our holistic horse riding program. Send us through a message, a DM, an email. And if you've got any, I love that beautiful pat that she gave her there too. If you've got some video that you'd like some help with and you're happy for us to share it on our YouTube channel, send us an email, katie@equestrianmovement.com. I'll have the links in the notes below this video. Until next time, happy trails.